Welcome to my storage unit, where, yeah, as you can tell, one of the problems is it's a bit dark. So I brought as many lights as I could find, try and light things up a little bit, with the aim today of working out why the car wasn't running when we moved it from the garage into here. I need to get it running so it can be easier to transport back home and get onto the drive, which is going to be a nightmare by hand. We can drive it up there, so much the better. Not going to work on the brakes. I think they'll be good enough just to stop it on that sort of thing, but just try and work out why it's not running. It's all a bit tricky because I've got no power here, so I'm reliant on a turn that off again. I'm reliant on a laptop plugged into my car power supply, and I forgot to charge the laptop before I came. So we'll see if I can get 12 volts working on here. I've brought a freshly charged 12 volt battery. And let's have a look under the bonnet. Apart from anything else, I need to re-familiarise myself with the car. It's some time since I've played with it, and I've kind of forgotten what state I left it in after 3 months or so. Well, that's how we left it, or I left it. I mean, sorry Jamie, it's still tighter than under Jamie's bonnet. But yeah, there's a bit of a mess going on. And the question is do I just try and tidy up, or do I rewire and do things properly now? It'd be good to just get it running, get it powered up, and see if we can get it moving, and then I can do things with a bit more light when I'm back at home and I've got all my tools. So let's at least see if it will, let's see if we can get the inverter fired up and get on the web interface and see what goes on there. Or maybe you can actually start with the cooling loop, see if the cooling loop's plumbed in, and see if that will run. You can see there that in my partial rewire, uncompleted rewire, I made the fuses and the relays an awful lot neater and an awful lot easier to understand. There's a whole mess of spaghetti underneath there, but from the top here at least it's relatively comprehensible. So what we can do is turn the key, check that the on relay is firing and that there's power to the inverter. There should be power to the inverter, the charger, the basic power to the battery box, the enable line for the power steering should be coming on, and then when it's on charge or run, then cooling should come on. So we won't get cooling at first, I remember now. These four come on with the on relay, these ones with the charge relay, and those last three with the run relay. So charge is the state any time that it's either charging the car or it's doing DC to DC. Basically when both main contactors are closed and the high voltage battery pack is hooked up to the inverter, then that middle charge relay is closed, and then the final one, the run relay, so the brake booster, the power steering start, and the switch gear to enable forward and reverse only comes on when the inverter is in run mode. So when you effectively, yeah, good question. What does trigger that? I think at the moment they must be bridged together because I've got no way of knowing when that's in run mode via CAN bus at the moment, but that is one of the things that I've always meant to fix. So let's get it on as Marvin Gaye? Yeah, Marvin Gaye, I think, said. But not like that. And then run the multimeter around and see what's going on. By the way, I have checked the battery. It was about 12.6 volts when I looked, so that's all good. Right, let's see what sort of voltage we've got on. Well, battery at the front to start with. I'm reading 12.2 at the front. That should be enough to get things running. See what we've got on. Yeah, so the on relay is clearly closed. 12.2 at the inverter. Let's see if it's getting to the other side of the... yeah, so the inverter's got power. Charger's got power. Battery box has got power. and the PAS enable line's got power, so that's cool. So we definitely know that the on relay is closed. And actually, if I move the camera a bit and look over there, you can see that little LED light on the uncovered Wi-Fi module, which again is something that needs sorting out, but it does mean we should have Wi-Fi. So if I can get a laptop up and running, we can get connected to the inverter and see what the state is there. I think we can safely ignore the system program problem, but the inverter is clearly online. We can get in on Wi-Fi. We can see we're on 5.1.4. Someone was asking for my parameter files the other day. I've just downloaded it and I'll email it to myself and post it on the forum, or message it to you. I can't remember who it was now. On the forums at some point soon. So yeah, I mean, all that tells us is that this is coming up basically, and we don't know anything else until we try and put the car into run mode and see what happens. So I just tried putting it into run mode, got some relay clicks, but no contactor clunks, no noise from the cooling pump. So clearly something's going wrong at the 12 volt level. Time to do a bit of investigating with the multimeter. Did a little test, disconnected the cooling pump over here and just tapped it to the positive terminal there. Sure enough, it runs, and actually I did run a multimeter on the terminals on there, and they are getting 12 volts when the charge relay closes. The run relay I don't think is closing at the moment, but that's probably due to the complicated wiring that I did trying to use a variety of diodes. And if you can see this, let me see if we can find the lamp. I've probably wired back up wrong down here, a variety of diodes on this thing here, to try and trigger the relay when the run signal comes from the ignition switch, and at the same time send the run signal to there. And then that controls the contactors. So it's probably, the problem is probably there, but also actually HV wasn't hooked up, which, you know, was quite sensible really. So I need to actually hook HV up. You can see here, if you've not seen this before, I used the back of a BMW S box so that I could keep the connectors and have a relatively easy and safe connect and disconnect to the high voltage in there. Just bolted this down, and just cut the back panel off and bolted this down to the back plate of my high voltage junction box. I was actually using the whole S box, and I will use the whole S box in my rear pack, but wanted a bit more oomph since I'm going to be putting 2 packs through it. I didn't want to try bridging 2 packs through a single S box. So I'm going to hook up HV, see if we get into run mode, play around with the run mode connections if not, and see where we go from there. Little bit of diagnosis later. The pre-charge relay over here is closing when it gets power, but the negative relay here doesn't seem to be closing, and that's probably down to a slightly messy wiring here. Yeah, I don't know why, but it doesn't look like that's getting 12 volts. In fact, I'll just double check that now, but I'm pretty sure that's the problem, that the negative relay is not getting 12 volts, and that gives me something to focus on when I come back next time. That'll do for today. Feels really good to have made a start again and got back into this. Lots more videos to come. I'll be doing some stuff in the home workshop as well, as you will have seen on the agenda video, and hopefully more episodes of DIY EV chat as well. If you'd like to come on the podcast, if you've got an EV project, a DIY EV project, whether you're in the US or Europe or the UK, as long as you can speak English, because I'm afraid neither my French nor my German are probably up to scratch for doing interviews in those languages. Certainly don't have the vocabulary. But yeah, if you'd like to come on the podcast, then give me a shout. It'd be great to talk to you. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.